Hey there, guys, and welcome back to the Two Players Podcast, episode 52. We're going to be briefly touching up on the news, games we've been playing recently, and then we're going to go into a house topic that I have regarding re-releasing of older games and the pricing of them and stuff like that. So let's begin with the first piece of news, Damian.
All right, so this is one that I'm pretty sure everyone has heard about by now, the Nintendo Labo. Basically, Nintendo has released a little video showing a new thing that kids could enjoy for the Switch, and it's basically like cardboard you get, and you're able to make it into things, put your Joy-Cons into it, and you're able to play games with said toy now.
Yeah.
So they're calling it Toy-Cons or whatever. So you can make like a race car out of your Joy-Cons and put your Switch in there, or make a robot or something. It's just mostly for children, I guess, to enjoy and just have a new way to play with their Switch. But a lot of other people have been getting very interested in this as well. I guess people are really interested in the concept of it. Personally, I don't care about it. It's also going to be $70, which is a lot.
The pricing of this, of the first two kits I saw were definitely on the higher end. I think the robot one is $80 or something like that, which is a little crazy. But yeah, this is definitely a very interesting concept that they're doing here. They said that you don't need the cardboard to actually play these games. You can make them your own or whatever, which I think would be even worse. Bigger pain in the ass.
Yeah, it would.
But yeah, I'm just interested to see where this goes, because the Switch already is doing fine as is, and them doing this Nintendo Labo thing is sort of kind of like Connect sort of thing. It's a add-on that doesn't really need to be there, but I guess they're trying it out.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't hurt. Again, if they showed this when they first showed the Switch, I would have been pissed off, but they're not. The Switch already sold really well. I already know what the Switch is capable of. I'm really happy with it. So them doing this is just a nice little side thing for people to get excited about if they're into this stuff. But for me, it's just really gimmicky and not worth it at all. But I can understand how people could be excited for this if you like to build stuff, or if you have kids and stuff like that. But again, just with the price alone, it's mostly just simple little games. You're mostly paying for the box really at that point. So I mean, it's just I don't know. I don't know if it's worth it, but I guess if you have fun building stuff, you'll probably enjoy it.
Yeah, we'll just have to go and wait and see, because I feel like that this would definitely treat the crowd of people who like to build Lego sets and stuff like that. The actual experience of that is worth it to them to pay however much money is to buy the Nintendo Labo stuff, just building it with your friends or by yourself. That experience alone might be worth it to them. So we'll just have to go and wait and see exactly on how this plays out, pretty much.
Yep.
All right, next piece of news is that the God of War PlayStation 4 game, it got a new trailer, a story trailer, and it looks pretty interesting exactly on where the story is going, because it's Kratos is still the God of War, but he's in this new world or something like that, and he's trying to hide that.
Yeah, it's based on Norse stuff now, right?
Yes.
Non-Greek stuff.
Yes.
Yeah,
so I'm just interested to go and see exactly on how the story plays out, because I'm still excited for the game. And the other thing that is big is that it has a official release date of 4/20. Which
same thing with the Labo, by the way.
Yes, same thing with the Labo. So yeah.
Again, I just sort of just like how the old God of Wars play with a hack and slash and stuff like that, while this one seems to be more of the Uncharted, Last of Us sort of route with action adventure games. And I don't mind that. It's just I prefer God of War to be how it was. Mm-hmm. But I don't know, I might pick it up if it's really good. I've been playing my PS4 a lot lately, so I might as well.
Yeah. I'm sort of in that same boat. I like, the Last of Us kind of gameplay style, but the entire hack and slash sort of feel, I think, fits the God of War theme better. But it looks like they're moving in a new direction with this new God of War setting. So
yeah.
I'm just interested to go and see exactly on how well the story plays out, because it definitely looks like it's going to be a lot more story driven just from this trailer alone. Anyways.
Yeah, it's probably going to be a lot more serious in tone, since, the first game was over the top, the first series. So we'll see about this one. It seems to be a more grounded approach to things. Mm-hmm. And make Kratos not a horrible person.
Yeah, just an angry dude who just kills the gods.
Basically. Alright, so Pacific Rim got a new trailer, and I thought it was pretty good. I heard some people didn't really like the choice of music. I mean, I did feel a little too, just too hyped, they try to hype you up too much. And another thing I am kind of scared of is, and I saw a lot of people pointing this out too, the robots don't really feel as big as the first one did. Like in the first movie, they did a good job showing the sense of scale, and they didn't move around like Power Rangers like in this one, where they're just like jumping in crowd, like doing all this crazy stuff. The first movie really did a good job showing that they're still huge machines moving really slow, but like it does give you a good sense of action. This one definitely does seem to be like making it a little like more Power Ranger-y. I don't know. It's hard to describe, but the sense of scale doesn't feel as big in this one.
I think what you're trying to say is that the robots lack weight in a way.
Yeah, they lack weight. Yeah, it feels too like they're not big. They just like. Yeah.
They're sort of moving too fast and stuff like that.
Yeah, they're moving a little too fast. I also know it's not. I don't think it's directed by Del Toro in this one.
Yeah,
I know he picked a different director.
But it's being directed by Stephen S. D. Knight. Netflix is Daredevil and stars Spartacus. So
okay, I mean, I think some people are being a little harsh on it. I know people like this trailer a lot more than the first one, but I still have hope in this movie because I just love the first one so much. So I'm just hoping it's really good.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the first Pacific Rim as well. So I'm just waiting to go and see for this movie to come out and just make my own opinion on it. Because trailers and stuff like that, they're cool and all, but I much rather just wait for the whole thing to come out and make my full opinion. But it does look pretty good so far.
Yeah, it still looks like fun.
Okay, next piece of news that Toys R Us is shutting down plus 180 stores across the U.S., even after the whole Christmas sale thing. I'm not exactly sure if I said this on the podcast, but when I went there on Black Friday, they had a lot of people on staff there, but no one was there. Like, no customers were there at all.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so, it definitely shows that Toys R Us is definitely falling out of favor within, today's Amazon sort of world, where everyone has Amazon Prime and everyone's ordering from Amazon and stuff like that. So with Toys R Us, they still have a lot of merchandise that's overpriced and stuff like that. And with the internet being more prevalent in today's world and everything like that, Toys R Us is sort of falling out of favor, especially with them forcing to close 180 stores, which some of them are local to us. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if they can't pull out of the whole holiday season and they were still doing bad during that, I think there's like no chance that they're going to survive right now. Amazon is just like destroying everyone, and then Toys R Us is like going to be one of the people to just fall out right now. So, and I mean, the prices aren't that great. So, I mean,
yep, exactly. That's the thing. Especially with other stores like Walmart, Target, people would much rather go to those stores to buy toys instead of just going to one store dedicated to toys,
Yes.
So, yeah.
Also, I feel like they weren't really adapting to anything. Like, I know Best Buy started doing that thing with the games where you buy a new game. Yeah, like, they're adapting to make it more appealing to actually shop there. Yeah. I didn't see anything for Toys R Us trying to, like, adapt to the times. And, if you don't adapt, then you're just going to, like, die. So that's what's happening here.
Because, like, with Best Buy, like, I'm shopping more at Best Buy just because I have the Gamers Unlocked membership or whatever. So I get 20% off on all brand new games. And I much rather do that than Amazon, because with Amazon, sometimes they're a little bit unpredictable. They could delay your order and stuff like that. And I much rather just go to the store, buy it right then and there. I have it in my hands and I could just go home and play it. I have to drive, obviously, but that's fine. But with Toys R Us, there's no real incentive for you to go to Toys R Us unless there's like a exclusive of something, which isn't really all that common with a lot of, normal day people, I guess. Even with myself, who I would consider myself as like a figure collector, game collector, whatever you want to say. There's not much for me to go there. Maybe it's just because of my interest. They do have a lot of exclusive pops or whatever, but I've definitely fallen out of that, thankfully. But yeah, like there's no real reason for you to go to Toys R Us unless there's like a sale, which normally they aren't even all that spectacular or whatever. So yeah, like you said, Toys R Us is just not adapting to the times, and that's what's going to lead to their downfall pretty much.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but apparently they're just going to go down at this point.
Yeah, most likely.
All right, so more sad news if you really care. Miitomo is going to be shutting down in May. I guess no one was really using it. I mean, I don't think anyone was using it after like the first week anyway. So Nintendo is just like, it isn't really worth keeping this thing up. So they're going to be shutting it down.
Yeah.
Which is smart. I mean, Nintendo is releasing a lot more actual games on iOS, like Mario Run and Fire Emblem Heroes and Animal Crossing Pocket Camp. So there's no real point in having Miitomo be around anymore. It was more, I think, just to test the grounds for the phone games and mobile games. and just to see how things will how things will work for them.
Yeah,
and it works pretty well. So now they have actual games, so there's no point in this anymore.
Yeah, Miitomo was sort of just like Nintendo's first step into the pool, I guess, or whatever that saying is. But yeah, when Miitomo came out, I think it said just over 2 years since launch. So pretty much when this game came out, a lot of people downloaded it. People who love Nintendo, people who like, playing games on their phone, they downloaded it because of how much buzz it was getting. This is Nintendo's first ever game on mobile device. So people downloaded it. They saw that it was just like a very simple, like social media sort of ordeal. But, there's already things like Facebook and Twitter, and people don't really, need another social media sort of device. And all you were really doing was just answering questions. So... but yeah, Miitomo shutting down, I think this was to be expected, and I think it's a good idea that they start doing it now, so, but yeah, like you said, after like the first month or so, a lot of people just dropped the game, including myself.
Yeah, I mean, I never even downloaded it because I knew, it just looked like you just dress up your Miis, you show it to people, and that's it. I'm like, I don't really need that, so I just never downloaded it, and I guess a lot of people dropped off it pretty quick, so again, it's not surprising that they'll be shutting it down. So
all right, so the last piece of news here is that Supersonic DLC for Sonic Forces, believe it or not, was paid DLC after the first month or something like that. I think they were like, all right, so after the first month, it's going to be paid, but a lot of people complain about that. So now they finally were like, all right, yeah, it's going to be free forever. I don't even know why Supersonic wasn't even in the game to begin with. That was a little weird, but, now it's free DLC to those who still have an interest in playing Sonic Forces. Now you can play as Supersonic. I believe in both the modern and classic stages, so, I mean...
Yeah, really, they want people to pay for Supersonic, and he wasn't even in the base game. That's crazy. What the hell?
It was like $199 or whatever. I mean, it's still DLC.
Yeah, but you still gotta buy Supersonic. Yeah, that's a little scummy. So come on.
At least they were able to turn it around in a quick fashion, I guess.
Yeah.
All right, so now let's get into the games we've been playing recently. I'll go first real quick because I have a list of things, and they're all going to be very brief. So I'll talk about games first, and then some of the movies that I've watched since the last podcast. So first up, League of Legends. They just released a new patch. They removed Sightstone and all of the other supportive items, or not all of them, but a bunch of the other supportive items. So pretty much what you have to do now in order to get the Sightstone active is you have to complete the quest, which is to get 500 gold with the support item, which is pretty good. Before, the threshold was 750, but that was because Sightstone was still in the game, and on top of that, you would get a special passive. So like with Spell Thief, every single time you would proc the Spell Thief, you would get a burst of movement speed, which would cause certain mid laners, certain AP junglers to get it, because of that burst of movement speed would help them to either get out of a fight or get into a fight. And then with Relic Shield was a huge problem with the hold 750 threshold, and then you would get a shield, and because every single time you would proc it, you would heal a little bit, which caused bot lane to just become a farm lane. So thankfully, now that is no longer there. On ranged champions with the Relic Shield, the healing is no longer as big. But anyways, League of Legends has been pretty fun for me. I just hit Diamond last night. I was Plat 1 from after I finished my provisionals, and then I just hit Diamond 5, and I did it. I lost my first 2 games, so I was like pretty scared. I was like, oh god, and then I won the next 3, so thankfully that happened. But yeah, support meta, as of right now, I think it's still tanks. I'm not exactly sure. I think some of the actual like supportive champions like Lulu, Janna, I think that those are still pretty good now, because I think Jinx got a slight buff, but that slight buff is like becoming a problem, kind of, I think. I'm not exactly sure yet because the patch is still new, but anyways, I'm having fun with League. Fortnite is always fun. It's always a blast. I actually won a game, but I only killed 2 people. So like what happened was I dropped in Tomato Town, and then I was getting shot up, and then I just ran. I had like 14 HP or something like that. I found a med pack, found a bunch of different guns, resources, whatever, and I pretty much just managed to stay alive for so long. And when it came down to it, it was just me and the last guy, and the last guy was like bandaging behind like his wooden structure, and I just like killed him. So but even then, it still felt very good. Like I was like shaking a little because, you know,
Yeah,
I was
I
like,
know.
dude, man, if I mess up here, I'm done, you know? So, thankfully, that didn't happen. But yeah, you know, Fortnite's still fun, even with duos, squads, whatever, you know, it's still a blast. Playing squads with Phil open, since it's usually me, my brother, and Jeffrey, and then a random. Playing with the random person, it's always like a wild card, obviously, but sometimes it's hilarious because like either the guy's really, really bad or like he'll just like randomly talk or whatever, like out of nowhere, and we're just like, wait, who the hell is that? And then, you know, we realize that, oh wait, it's our other teammate because we forgot to turn off Phil or whatever. Or actually, sometimes we keep it on because, you know, we realize that it's 3v4 a lot of the time and we just get destroyed. But, you know, played that. And then on stream, I played Sonic Lost World. That game is definitely a very different Sonic game. I'm not going to say it's bad, but it's okay.
Yes, I felt the exact same way when I played it.
Yeah, like it's not a bad game by any means. Like it works, but you know, some of like the new mechanics, like the whole like parkour thing is very weird and whatever, but you know, it's an okay game, but as a Sonic game, I think it's definitely very poor.
I think it's okay. Like it's very like just okay.
I mean, I guess, you know, but like
it just feels more like a Mario game.
Yeah,
like worse.
Much
like,
more of a
mean?
platforming based game.
Yeah,
you know, like going fast. Sometimes you definitely do get punished. I feel so, but you know, Sonic Lost World, it's okay. I haven't finished it yet because I had to like collect 2,000 more flickies to advance, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna just end. I'll just end the stream here, whatever, you know. But. And then this past week, I played Doki Doki Literature Club, which a highlight video will be going out today. But yeah, I played it. It was definitely very interesting. It is not what you expect it to be. But I'll just leave it at that because I literally went into this game blind. You know, I just saw it that it was a visual novel. A lot of people liked it. That's all. I didn't know anything about what kind of genre this game was or anything.
You did
like.
it?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. I didn't know that it was, you know, like a freaking psychological horror. Like halfway through the game, I was like, oh my god, what the hell is going on? You know. I guess I kind of spoiled that aspect to those people who didn't know that, but yeah, like halfway through the game, it just completely changes up on you, and you kind of get that idea when you start the game because it asks you, do you have any like troubles with anxiety or depression or whatever, and you know this game may be disturbing to some viewers or players or whatever. You know they ask you those questions because they don't want you to get triggered by certain events that happen in this game that are definitely very disturbing. I wouldn't say that I ever like got like super jump scared or anything like that. I was just like very creeped out at like certain moments, you know. So, but yeah, that is a very good game. It's free too, so you know, if you have a PC and a Steam account, just play the game. If you're comfortable with, you know, all of those mental health subjects or whatever. So, but movies I watched The Post. It's about like on how like the Washington Post like published a like article and like the U.S. government tried to like revolt, but you know obviously freedom of the press, so they won. And on top of that, I think like some other like newspapers or like across the U.S. Helped out as well. So it's definitely very slow, but like once you see as to like where the movie's going, it definitely picks up. The Shape of Water, I'm not gonna say anything about that. That movie's just great. It's fantastic.
Yes, I want to watch it. Yeah.
I, Tanya. I didn't know anything about Tanya Harding, which is what this movie's about. But it was a very good telling of her story, and I really did like the performances by all of the cast. And then yesterday I watched Wonder, which is based on a book, and it's about like a kid who's been homeschooled his entire life, and he has to go to middle school, and his face is different from everyone else's, and you see on how that affects him, his family, and you know the people around him. So I really did like that movie. The way me and my brother described it is that it's a very wholesome movie. Like you'll feel very good about yourself and about, you know, the characters and everything like that by the end of the movie. So at first you'll feel bad for the kid because you'll see, you know, the bullying going on, but by the end you'll just feel, you know, very good about it. So
that's good.
But yeah, that's about it. So Damian, I know some things you've been playing recently, so why don't you go into detail about those?
Yeah, so the first thing I've been playing most of this, well, I guess, all right, let me talk about the quick things. So Overwatch, I played a little bit of Overwatch. I got up to gold again Nice. I want to get to platinum, but like I don't know if I care enough. I mean, the game is certainly better. Like I've been trying to stay more in like well, I usually have some groups that I play with, but if I'm playing by myself, I try to get with some good people so like we could like just play through it and not like worry about having a teammate who just like sets off and like starts being a loser. But I was able to just play Pharah like the whole time, and I could like not to like toot my own horn, but I'm pretty good at Pharah, like once I'm Pharah, I could win a lot. But yeah, so we went through a good win streak. I'm almost up to plat again, but maybe once I'm up to plat this season, I'll be good again. Like I don't really care. Like Diamond is like where the place where I'll be like, okay, I'm good with this game. I don't need to play it anymore. But I'll be happy with plat. There's also some event going. Well, not an event, but they just released a big update for Overwatch where they released a new map and a bunch of new skins to the loot boxes, like the permanent loot box, so you can get a bunch of cool skins from other Blizzard games, from like StarCraft and Diablo and stuff, so that's really cool. The new map itself, called Blizzard World, is also just full of references, and I love it a lot. As someone that's a pretty big Blizzard fan that likes most of their IPs, it's really fun to just walk around and see all the cool references. It's also like a capture map, and then goes into payload, which is, again, the one thing I could critique Overwatch is not really a lot of creative, game modes. Is mostly just either capture the point or a payload, so that's about it. I wish there was more variety in there, but, whatever. The map design is pretty good anyway. It has a choke, and then you go out, big open area, then another choke, so it's fine. I do like the aesthetic a lot, though.
Okay.
The other thing I've been playing was Nier Automata by Platinum. Is a sequel to Nier, which came out way in the early 360 days. It was not considered very good, but the overall plot and stuff was very interesting, and it was the reason why I got a cult following. This game is the sequel to that, and I don't really want to talk much about it because I haven't finished it, and I feel like the game really comes together once you finish all the endings. But I will say that I'm just going to give you how the gameplay works. It's basically like Platinum-style combat with more action RPG elements to it. So, there is leveling up, there's like skills and stuff like that, which could be a problem for some people because I know some people don't like having basically bullet sponges in like a Platinum-style game. That could be kind of a turn off. But I feel like that's only a big problem during your first like playthrough through the game, since I played through it like 4 times, but that the way they describe it's weird, but you don't really play through the same game 4 times. It's like 4 like Sonic Adventure where you play as Sonic, then you have to play like Tails. It's like that. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it's not really like 4 different playthroughs, even though that's how they describe it. But
or like with Sonic Heroes in a way.
Yeah, like Sonic Heroes. Like, yeah, we have like 3 stories and then the last story basically. So that's how this game works as well. But again, the leveling problem is only an issue during the first part of the game. After that, you get extremely overpowered and you could just like wreck everything, which is what I'm doing right now. I don't want to comment on the story just yet, even though I think it's very interesting at the moment, but I heard it's going to get even more interesting once I finish it, so I don't want to give my full thoughts right now. I'll probably do it next podcast. Also, last podcast, I did not finish Xenoblade yet, and then I finished it right after the podcast. And I do need to apologize, saying that the story was felt too recycled from the first game. There is a reason for that, and it's really good, so I'm like, okay, I understand now. So yeah, I do apologize. The story was pretty good. All right, so and next, I purchased Monster Hunter World and Dragon Ball FighterZ, which both came out today, and I played a little bit of both before the podcast so I could give my brief opinion on it. Dragon Ball FighterZ is really good. It basically plays like Marvel vs. Capcom 3, which I did play a little bit of, but a lot more simplified, where the only real motion you have to know is quarter circle, and you're good. Like, that's the only motion you really know how to do. There's a lot of auto combos, which I feel doesn't really ruin the game too much because you're supposed to do a lot of mix-ups anyway by pressing, like, you can't just do auto combos to win, and they don't really do much damage anyway if you're worried about that, if you're, like, a competitive player. But doing mix-ups is still, like, better than doing auto combos. I didn't play too much of it. I played some of the arcade mode to know what that was about. Basically, if you keep getting S ranks during a battle, you would go up, and you would fight tougher opponents in arcade mode. But if you, like, lose a battle or you do pretty bad in a battle and get, like, a C rank, you'll move down to easier opponents and earn less money after you finish arcade mode, which is pretty interesting. I haven't touched the story mode yet because I only played like an hour of it, but I am pretty interested since the game has like 3 hours worth of cutscenes apparently. So
oh my god,
it's a pretty long story mode. I think it's like 10 hours. I think.
Oh, okay. So
yeah, so it does have a pretty lengthy story mode, which is nice. And I haven't touched online here yet. I did play online during the open beta, and the connections are fine. You could select what connection type you want. So you could select any connection type, or 1 bar connection type, 2 bars, or 3 bars. And I guess it just depends how quickly you want your matches to be made. Obviously, you probably want 3 bars because no one wants a laggy fight. Exactly. But obviously, the game feels great. It's more about just attacking, not really defending or anything like that. Like Street Fighter, we see people doing footsies a lot. This game is mostly about just charging in and blasting people, which I appreciate. Because in fighting games, I don't really like doing that whole thing. I like just going up in their face. And this game delivers on that. It really gives you that nice Dragon Ball Z feel. So I do like the game a lot. And I can't wait to play more of it. I also watched Battle of the Gods finally. It took me like 4 years, but I watched it. I finally watched it before playing this game. And I have to say, that movie was fantastic. I love it. Like, the first 40 minutes was, like, fantastic. And it had, like, no fighting in it. I'm like, this is great. I loved it. Beerus is a fantastic villain. He's probably the best villain in the series. Because he's not, like, one-dimensional and everything. He is a very cool character.
Yeah, man, he has layers.
Yeah, dude. So, yeah, the Battle of the Gods is a fantastic movie. So, I can't say more about that because I'm playing an hour of it. And the next game that came out was Monster Hunter World. I played it during midnight. I played like about an hour of it before I like passed out because I worked yesterday too, so I was tired. But
okay.
Monster Hunter World is fantastic. It does so many things to streamline the Monster Hunter experience, but not in a way that makes it too simplified. Basically, just the UI feels a lot cleaner. The game just explains things way better than the 3DS games. The controls feel good. Like, your hands don't get cramped by playing it like the 3DS games.
Mm-hmm.
The crafting is a lot simpler. So when you go out to gather things out in the open, you don't have to like sit there and gather for like a second. Now you just press circle when you're next to anything that could be gatherable, and you just grab it and you can keep running. Like, you don't have to waste your time gathering stuff. And you don't have to waste time in inventories like crafting potions, because as soon as you grab 2 herbs out in the open, it will auto craft into a potion and just be given to your like inventory. So like, they really cut down on the inventory and like crafting and stuff like that, which is great. Playing with people is also pretty easy. I can't because I don't have PS Plus and I don't feel like paying for it. But you could just go up, just matchmake with people, and there you go. You're in a game with people. But everything is just super nice, very clean. It's really fun to play. It's good to see all the graphics are just great. I am playing it on a PS4. Like, I don't have a Pro. And the game does run nice. Like, I didn't notice any major frame rate drops yet. It is a nice 30 right now. Christian does have a Pro, my brother, and I could see it runs a little better, like, because it runs at like 40 FPS, I think.
Oh, okay.
But it's not too big of a deal. Like, if you're worried about not getting this game because you don't have a Pro, it's not that bad.
Yeah.
But again, combat is great. It's just Monster Hunter, just like on a console, and it's great. I love it.
On a superior console, not the 3DS.
Yeah. The only downside is you don't have the portability, and I do hope they do release the Monster Hunter on Switch eventually. I know it's not going to be World, but I hope they release the one that came out in Japan. But if not, I'm pretty happy with World right now. It's great. I love it a lot. And that's about it, because those games literally came out today, and I wanted to play a little bit of each before the podcast so I could talk about them, but I think that's all I've been playing right now.
Okay, so now let's do something different that we haven't done in a while. A host topic that I brought today, the pricing of re-releases. So I have a tweet from Terminator Juice. I don't know him personally or know him at all, but this was just something that happened to pop up on my timeline because someone retweeted it, and I thought that it would be a good point of, I guess, discussion. So... pretty much he's saying in this tweet that, Shadow of the Colossus on the PS4, it's a remaster of a remastered game. It was already re-released on the PS3. Now it's getting a re-release on the PS4. Shadow of the Colossus is $40, and then the Switch ports of Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze and Bayonetta 1 and 2 together is $60. So first, I want to go and ask you, Damian, what do you think, like, the price of the Switch port should be?
Alright, so I think Switch ports should be... What, they're selling these for $60, right? Like Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze.
Yeah, as of right now, they're $60.
I mean, ideally, I think ports should be $40 if they're not doing anything special. Like, they should be $40. But I know it's Nintendo, and mostly on the Switch, where things just are, like, expensive for no reason. Because I have no idea why, but they are. And it's Nintendo, that I know it's not going to be $40. So I do wish they would have dropped it to $50 at least, but $60 is a little much.
Yeah, $50 was definitely like my price in mind when it came to these Switch ports, especially with Bayonetta 2 and 1, because Bayonetta 1 is such an old game, and then Bayonetta 2, yeah, it came out on the Switch. I think the reason that they're keeping both of these games as $60 is because since they both came out on the Wii U and the Wii U didn't do as well, that would have meant that these games didn't do as well. So I think that they're just trying to recover, whatever they have by re-releasing these on the Switch, by adding a little bit of extra content onto Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze. I don't think they did much for Bayonetta 2 and 1, so I think they're just keeping them at $60 each just to go and, recover from the loss of what the Wii U was.
Yeah, like I didn't buy Bayonetta 2, Christian did, and I wanted to play them for a while, but I just didn't touch them for some reason. So I don't mind paying $60 for Tropical Freeze or Bayonetta 2 because I never played them, but I could understand if you wanted to replay them for some reason on your Switch. Yeah. Then you'll probably feel pretty hurt to pay $60 again just to get them.
Yeah.
But again, like for a lot of people, it's not going to be an issue because they never played these games and it's going to be like new games to them. But I still think they should be $50 at least.
Yeah, I think that $50 price point is definitely the sweet spot because, $60, you're pretty much saying that, this is like a brand new game, but at the same time, these are re-releases / ports, so fixing them at like $50 would definitely be ideal. I think $40 is a little too low, especially since when you're comparing it to Shadow of the Colossus, especially, that game is hella old. And
I don't know. Which Shadow of the Colossus? I know they're doing a complete remake of it.
Yeah,
right now,
I know.
right?
I know they're remastering it completely, but I'm not exactly sure.
Yeah.
I'm not exactly sure if they should just, say because Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze and Bayonetta 2 were both last gen consoles, they should just be $40 straight up. So I don't know.
Yeah, but I agree that it should be at least $50. I think, but Nintendo is pretty greedy when it comes to their prices.
Yeah. So. I don't think I put it on here, but they just released some Nintendo Select titles for the 3DS, and one of them was Super Mario 3D Land. That game came out like 7 years ago. So I know. So that game's been $40 since release for 7 years, and now they're finally dropping it to $20. So yeah, Nintendo is definitely very stingy with their prices, but these are much newer games when you're comparing it to Shadow of the Colossus. I understand that they are remastering it fully, but even then, the game is still pretty old, and people who do just want to play the game as it was, they could just buy it on the PS2 or the PS3, so.
Yeah. But I do agree that Nintendo should really lower especially now that they're doing a bunch of Wii U ports, with Bayonetta 2, Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze, and Hyrule Warriors, that they should put a discount on them at least.
I think Hyrule Warriors should stay at $60, just because they're adding all of that 3DS content as well.
Oh, that's true. I guess they're adding all the DLC content and the 3DS content, so I guess that is worth it. But something like Bayonetta 2 doesn't. I don't think they're adding anything to it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're not adding much.
And Tropical Freeze, you have an easy mode, and that's about it. So it's like I don't really know. Again, I'm gonna buy all of them anyway because that's how I am. But I do agree that they should really lower these prices.
Some people made the argument in the comments of this tweet before he deleted it. Some people made the argument that it's because of manufacturing costs, which I don't think it's.
No, I think a cartridge might cost a little more, but still.
Yeah, I don't think that's the complete reason behind it. My theory is that since Wii U failed, they're trying to make up for it here. That's just my thing. So
yeah, that's the way I think too. And they probably know people are going to buy it because, again, a lot of people didn't have a Wii U, so they might be more willing to spend the $60 on it.
It always comes back to, video games being a business as well. So
yeah, so Nintendo is just trying all right, we can make up for our losses right here, right now. So that's what it is.
Yeah, it's we could lower it to $50, but at the same time, we know a lot of people are going to buy it still, so... it's a business thing. So to those listening, if you have an opinion on this topic, be sure to leave your comments below. I will be sure to read them. But yeah, is there anything else you would like to add, Damian?
No, I think that's about it.
Okay, so that is the end of the Two Players Podcast, episode 52. We will see you guys 2 weeks from now with the next episode.
Later.